There has been vigorous debate in the mobile telecommunication space in Kenya regarding the mobile termination rates, which were expected to come down at least 18 months ago. That has not yet happened, though all indications are that the Communications Commission of Kenya will be bringing it down from 2 shillings 21 cents to at least 1 shilling and 60 cents. Madhur Taneja, country manager for You Kenya, is now with us. Where do you stand on this debate on the MTR and the impending reduction?
To me, it's very, very fundamental in nature, and there is no debate. Everyone is clear, including the people who are opposing it, that the only way forward is a decline. And that is visible in many, many parameters the way it is. Starting from one, if you look at the international rates today, international rates are much lower than the local rates, which is today standing at 3 shilling. Today, everyone is offering international rates at 3 shilling, which is to US or to China, which is as far as 16,000 kilometers from here. So there's no logic why should a local call within Kenya, within Nairobi, within Westland should be so expensive.
Maybe following this from the beginning, which is what is the role of the mobile termination rate in determining the call tariffs in Kenya?
The way it is, the biggest component of the cost for any cost across network is mobile termination rate. Today, for statistics purpose, today the rate is 3 shillings and the mobile termination rate is 2.21. So 2.21 is the single biggest cost of 3 shilling which we cost to the customers for calling across network. And the balance portion is taxes, which is 10% is the excise and 16% is VAT. So overall, if you look at it, the single biggest cost, which is close to around 75%, is mobile termination rate. If you look at the difference between the rates which are on network, today we are offering, for example, U Mobile is offering a rate of negligible, as good as free, or our base rate today has gone to say 1 shillings. What we are talking about is 1 shilling versus 3 shilling or 0 shilling versus 3 shilling. The entire difference is all because of the mobile termination rate.
But those who oppose the reduction of the MTR, notably Safaricom and Orange in Kenya, say, what are the anti-dumping strategies? If the MTR comes down, then what is there to prevent the outbreak of another price war, which is not good for the industry?
I think, first thing, let's all recognize that competition is healthy for the industry. The biggest thing which happened for Kenya has been the competition, because otherwise, you would remember the rates used to be somewhere like 20 shillings. And I'm talking about a period not even 3 years back. So today from 20 shillings, if we are down to 3 shillings across network, or on the same network, if it is down as free, then it is only because of competition. Think from a perspective of how the industry has grown. In last 2 years, industry is growing or clipping at a rate of around 4 million subscribers per annum. Before this, if we talk about the entire competitive era, it used to grow not even at 2 million per annum. The entire growth, what we see today, is all because of competition. So I think competition is welcome, competition is healthy. That would definitely lead to some bit of price drop. But I don't think so there is any more room of price drop in any of the legs, be it across network or on the network.
So competition is great, but when prices come down, the tariffs come down, then the average revenue per user also drops, and smaller networks like yourself find it much harder to make money.
Yes, that's a valid point, and all of us would like the average revenue per user to go up. But when ARPUs have to go up, it doesn't mean necessarily that there has to be a rate increase. Yes, today the rates are one of the lowest, but also the challenge is the minutes are the lowest in East Africa. We are talking about average minutes per user of less than 3 minutes. The industry average is hovering at around 75 minutes, which is 2.5 minutes per day, which is nowhere in comparison to if we talk about East Africa, where the usage is around 200 minutes, which is roughly around 6.5 minutes per subscriber per day. And if we talk about countries like China, India, US, everywhere else, it is around 500 minutes per subscriber per month. So we are way, way lower. Having said that, again, I'll say that yes, average revenue per user has to go up. It will go up by increased usage, and it will go up definitely because of prices. But in this case, I think prices will definitely not come down. Going up remains a possibility because, as you also mentioned, the industry doesn't make as much profit. Actually, it's a loss-making industry. So price increase would happen.
Which leads to the obvious question, which is why is the industry a loss-making industry despite all these factors which appear to be great for it?
Okay, let's also understand that telecom per se across the world would take 5 to 8 years. Any company in telecom sector would take that kind of period to start making money. Out of the 4 operators, 2 operators are just around 4.5 years. So they haven't yet crossed the threshold of 5 years, wherein they'll be able to get the critical mass of customers, thereby make enough revenue, thereby be able to cover up their losses. Having said that, that is only one of the reasons. Two, of course, is that today there is a huge amount of dominance in the marketplace, and that dominance is not opening up. We can go from MTR as a point in debate, or it could be also on the mobile money where there is no interoperability, or we could get into other issues. So I think there is one great step in terms of getting competition, two, a great step in terms of having a vision of being able to frame the right policies, but third, I think the gap where it exists is in terms of the policy implementation. There are gaps, there are visible gaps, and that of course would keep becoming a biggest hindrance or the biggest barrier for profitability of the industry.
The dominance of the market leader, Safaricom, has been talked about in the industry for years now by all the other operators as well. For instance, about their mobile money transfer service, you suggested that if they were to open it up to other operators, you would be willing to pay royalties for that. But overall, what do you think needs to be done to level the playing field?
Just open it up. Today, all the agents, which are close to around 40,000, are tied up into exclusive agreements. If you talk to any one of those agents, if you were supposed to do your own poll, most of them would say, we would like to deal with other mobile money platforms. But unfortunately, because the agreements are exclusive, they can't pick any other services, which means that they already have a fixed cost of rental, but they can't add extra business in the same field which they best understand. So that's unfortunate. That's the first thing which we need to bring in level playing field, wherein you let the entrepreneur do what he wants to do, which means make more money by getting everyone the way he wants to rather than restricting him. I think that's not a right practice in the market. Come on to the number two in terms of interoperability. Today you can't transfer the money from operator A to operator B easily. Now that means what are the issues? Issues are retailer has to keep 2 different wallets, consumer has to keep 2 different wallets, and today if we transfer the money, he has to go to the same operator for getting the cash out. What it means is if I send a UCash to some other service provider customer and say that this is your 1,000 shilling, he has to go necessarily to our own distribution network. It is unlike banks. In banks, if I issue a check to other bank, you can go to your bank and get the money. In this case, no, you go to the bank of the issuing bank and get the money. Those are the big challenges. They may look very simple, they may look very transparent, but unfortunately not being linked in spite of being raised, and I think that's where industry will have to mature, regulator will have to facilitate, and thereby show a determination of bringing a level playing field. That's what is going to bridge the gap on mobile money.
When does you expect to turn profitable, especially at this time when you're talking about a possible tariff increase to be able to, well, remain afloat?
We'll be more than happy not to increase the prices, but I wish mobile termination rate, which was supposed to happen 18 months back, would have happened by now, because we have lost very significant amount of money in last 18 months in spite of having a commitment. So that remains a challenge. Having said that, we have just achieved a landmark milestone of 3 million subscribers. We are extremely delighted with that. But yes, irrespective, in spite of having the critical mass, in spite of being the fastest growing in the industry in last 1 year, we still see that the ARPU remains a concern area. We think, yes, while the minutes go up, the rates may have to go up. That will help the industry, that will help you mobile, and we are determined as per our plans to be becoming profitable by 2014. So we are in 2012, we have 2 more years to go, but we are determined that we should become profitable earlier, if not definitely meeting a plan and becoming profitable by 2014.